are back in session 4. Session 4 deals with discovery method and inquiry teaching. And by the end of this session, you should be able to explain discovery and inquiry methods of teaching mathematics. Discovery teaching. So let's start with discovery teaching. There are two forms of discovery teaching or discovery method. We have the guided discovery and the free discovery. Then the guided discovery is an approach in which the teacher presents a series of structured situations to students. The student then study these situations in order to discover some concepts or generalization. As opposed to the exposition, the learner is not told the rules or generalization by the teacher. That's the difference between the discovery and the exposition. In this case, the exposition, the rules, everything, the generalization, everything is being told to the student. But for discovery, the rules or the generalization are not told to the students by the teacher. The students are rather asked to identify the rules. The guided discovery method of teaching is good because students are provided with structured guidelines for assignments but are allowed to discover details on their own. Now when it comes to the free discovery is excellent because students are able to be part of their own education. They are free to use their critical thinking skills to discover the world around them. However, the drawback with this method is that it is not structured, and most students need some level of guidelines to follow so that they can stay on track. But these guidelines may not be there, so they may easily go off track. So that's the only drawback in the free discovery. But the best methodology is to mix teaching method. The teacher starts the lesson off with the visuals and a short lecture, and then the class discussion or the class discusses the material by asking and answering questions. Then the students are given guidelines to follow, such as prompts that are chosen ahead of time, or sometimes they come up with their own prompts. Then after everything is in place, students are given the free roam or the freedom to discover the world around them. So you have blended all what you have learned. The lecture is coming in, the exposition is coming in, then the discovery is coming in, then the guidance discovery and the free discovery being, but that's why we call it the mixed method of teaching. Example, discovering the value of pi to be 3.14 by measuring the distance around the cylindrical object and their diameter, and finding the ratio of the circumference to the measure of the diameter. This is practical example, and you bring materials, you ask the students to bring their own cylindrical materials, their own rope. You guide them to take the diameter or the circumference. They use the rope to take the circumference. Then they now take the rope to take the diameter and measure it, and they now divide and see the ratio. Series of cylindrical objects, milliton, molten, different objects. But they realize that the ratios that they are going to get are almost the same. The answer that they are going to get are almost the same because they are using a common ratio. Discovery sum of angles in triangles by measuring the angles of number of different size triangles and then finding the sum of the three angles. This is also another practical way of finding the sum of the two angles of a triangle. They draw different triangles, different sizes, and measure all the sums and add them, and realize that they are all getting almost the same answer as 180 degrees. Another example of discovery is discovering the area of a circle by splitting a circular cut out into small sectors and rearranging the sectors to form an approximate rectangle, and then finding the area of the resultant or the resulting rectangle or parallelogram. So some of these are some of the activities that you can embark with your students, and you see how discover the sum of angles in a polygon is also another way of. Now, what are the limitations? Guided discovery is time consuming for the teacher to organize. Some students may never discover the concepts or principles. It depends or it demands a fair amount of expertise from the teacher. It requires technical expertise. Now we come to the inquiry method. Inquiry method is a method in which specific problems are set for investigation. Bear in mind the resources available, but freedom in the method of solving the problem is also allowed. Inquiry method, though effective, can be time consuming, requiring decisions from the teacher on the best mix of methods to use to achieve his instructional objectives. They say inquiry method, the learner is to seek knowledge through his or her own efforts by carrying out investigation, drawing generalization, discovery, and finding. How do you do it? Activities. Identify the problem, formulate hypothesis, collect data, draw conclusion, apply your conclusion to make generalization, revise your hypothesis. The advantages in inquiry method are as follows. Critical and problem-solving skills are enhanced. It necessitates in-depth understanding and involvement of learners in solving problems. Learner gains a great deal of independence to plan and decide how to carry out investigation. The learner learns from experiences. It stresses students' ability to observe, collect information, analyze information, anticipate accepted outcomes, and evaluate conclusions. Limitations. It is enough exposure is needed by the user. Then the problems may require material, time, and equipment beyond available resources. This brings us to the end of this session. In this session, we took the discovery and inquiry method of teaching mathematics, the advantages and disadvantages, advantages and limitations, and we continue in the next session.